Seth Patrick Baines was born on his brother Ollie's birthday in Liss in 1983 to Mimi Louise, an East Coast American, and Patrick John, a London suburbanite. As a jolly little baby, Seth would always be looking about, taking in the world around him, and observing the weird and wonderful people that lived in it. As Seth grew and the strands of hair started springing up, he began developing his most distinctive brand asset, his curly mop. Raised in the village, Seth was born into an amazing church community that his parents and many others had moved to the area to be a part of. That community, combined with his 3 brothers, meant that Seth was never short of family or friends, 2 departments that would be hugely formative in shaping Seth as a person. As a youngster, Seth showed a flair for business, a precursor for the subject he would focus on at university. When playing in the garden, Seth would visit the fence of the neighbour Mr. Jones and watch him tend to his vegetable patch. Mr. Jones would pass carrots through the fence for Seth to nibble on, which he would gratefully accept. Seth would then run inside, raid his mum's handbag for cash, and then pass it all through the fence, sometimes parting with £20 notes for a single carrot. Mr. Jones would always later return the money to Mother Baines. Seth was later to learn that business was about making money, not spending it.
When he was old enough to participate in team sports, Seth began running rings around his hapless opponents in his 2 favourite disciplines, football and basketball. With his tiny frame and his enormous afro, Seth never let his dimensions stop him from dominating and humiliating his unsuspecting prey. In football, Seth was part of the Tarot Panthers, a local team that enjoyed huge success making it to Old Trafford to take part in an international tournament in the 90s. In basketball, Seth captained his school team to 4th in the national championships and was an integral part of the Hampshire county team for many years. Alongside sports, as a teenager, Seth developed a huge passion for music. After saving up enough pocket money for turntables and records, he got into DJing with his brother Luke. The loft that Luke and Seth shared as a bedroom was used daily as a rehearsal space. They blasted records as loud and as fast as possible in their genres of choice, happy hardcore and drum and bass. Not willing to accept it as music at all, Father Patrick called it crash bang wallop, a term only bettered by family friend Donald Drew, who referred to it as skeletons making love on a tin roof.
After breezing through his GCSEs, Seth attended Alton College, where he went on to flourish academically, showing up the rest of the Baines boys with his hard work and effortless intellect. On finishing college, Seth took a year out to work, travel and think. Needing a job, Seth hustled for cash, raising funds where he could in order to jet off to some faraway land to do some soul-searching. Amongst his jobs during this period were working at a cable factory on the production line, acting as a PA for disabled family friend Phil Mason, labouring for a landscape gardener, and doing odd gigs here and there for family friends. During a particularly desperate period, he circulated this gardening advert. "Is your garden getting you down? Let me sort it out. Moderate rates. Call Seth on 892355. You'll be glad you did." With enough cash raised, Seth went to Kenya with the charity Tear Fund to help with a building project. Details about what were being built are hazy, but there is every chance it was either some prayer booths or some toilets. This first time away from home was instrumental in the development of Seth's Christian faith, a faith that would go on to shape Seth and his entire outlook on life in the future. That same year, Seth extended a visit to the US to spend more time with the American family on his mum's side, and to see some more of the country he was technically a citizen of. Having visited the American family occasionally growing up, Seth would go on to form very close bonds with his aunts, uncles and cousins.
Following his year out, Seth would attend the University of West England in Bristol to do business studies. Missing the deadline for university accommodation, Seth had to settle for some rough digs on the outskirts of town in his first year. He lived with a bunch of randoms who very much kept to themselves. He turned it around in the following years, however, making many good friends and living in a big house with a load of buddies, some of which were pals from back in Liss. It was in this big house that Seth and his friends held the first comfortable evening, a social gathering that's intention was to achieve maximum comfort for all. This included wearing tracksuits, eating lots of delicious food, and then reclining on a fantastically squishy sofa to watch some light comedy. Before any of these evenings began, one of the members had to read out the comfortable creed. It goes like this: I believe in comfort, the creator of well-being, and in leisure, enjoyed to the full through fellowship. Though I suffer under the stresses of labour, it is the antidote to discomfort and burden. Sometimes in my work I despair, but in the later hours of the day, I lounge. I ascend into revelry and immerse myself in all things comfortable, not least in the refuge of the comfortable trouser. I believe in universal comfort, the honourable, comfortable committee, the fellowship of comfort seekers, the relief of discomfort, and a life lived in the pursuit of comfort for all. Amen. Following university, the comfortable evenings and their spirit would carry on with Seth and his friends. He had a particularly close-knit group of pals from growing up, and they were affectionately known as the Circle of Men, a term coined by Seth's Uncle Blair when he noticed them all dancing together in a circle during a wedding. Many girls tried to enter the circle, but they were quickly sent packing. When a number of the circle moved to London, it was the natural relocation for Seth once he'd finished university.
Seth moved to South London with some key members from the Circle of Men into a flat that became officially known as the Testoster Home. For work, Seth took his first-class honours in business studies into brother Jesse's web design company to steady the ship and use his easy charm to handle all client liaisons. He found a natural home at St Mark's Church in Clapham Junction, which is just around the corner, making countless good friends and getting heavily involved in the church youth group and football team. It was during this time that Seth started to get interested in photography. He had started helping manage his brother Ollie's band when he volunteered to take the odd promotional snap of them here and there. This quickly escalated into taking live shots, making music videos, and immersing himself in the ways of the photographic Shaolin. Before too long, Seth's work got spotted and he started getting asked to photograph weddings. Absolutely delighting in this new creative outlet, Seth soon discovered that business wasn't his calling and he became a full-time photographer. Demand for his skills was such that he was soon getting international commissions, seeing him travel to Africa, the US, and all over Europe on various assignments. One of the reasons Seth was so good at photography was that he connected with people effortlessly, and these connections translated so well into capturing moments that would otherwise be easily missed. With enough photography money coming in, Seth launched all his other energies into helping market Flight Brigade, his brother Ollie's 7-piece band. This went from unglamorous organisation of finances and gigs to producing, shooting and editing technically brilliant music videos. Known affectionately as the 8th member, Seth absolutely loved the music and really believed in the band and their cause, taking countless photos and producing tons of videos over a very short time span.
It was around this time that Seth started officially stepping out with a smoking hot young Spaniard by the name of Sarah Reed. There had been sparks and glimmers here and there, but Seth had never committed, much to the frustration and bemusement of those around him. As Seth's relationship with Sarah gathered steam, so began a really awful string of health issues that would have huge ups and downs over the following years. In amongst the struggles, as the doctors tried to find the right levels of medication for Seth's epilepsy, there were hugely happy and joyful times.
The height of these was the news in spring 2016 of Seth and Sarah's wedding. Here's how Seth broke it to us. Dearly beloved and people who owe us money, after reflecting on the way the New York Knicks ended their basketball season with a whimper and obvious lack of desire, Sarah Reed and I were outraged. Despite this deep-seated and, dare I say, valid feeling of indignation, we quickly, within a 4-minute period, turned our enragement into engagement. Sarah and I are getting married to each other. The wedding day was a deeply happy occasion. Plans were in place for Seth to take strategic naps throughout the day to conserve his energy levels, but these were quickly brushed aside in the moment, and Sethy was up right until the end of the night, joyfully dancing with his friends to his beloved drum and bass.
As Seth's health started to deteriorate through operations, therapy and various courses of medication, he and Sarah continued to find joy in one another, in their family and friends, and in the world around them. Seth had taken to Facebook to post updates about his health, a method that he found helped him to articulate things in his own way, with humour and brutal honesty. The effect this had on people, both those known and unknown to Seth, was incredible to behold.
People found his courage inspirational, not just his courage in facing his disease, but his courage in openly talking about his struggles and encouraging everybody to do the same. He urged people to be honest with one another, honest about their feelings, and honest in standing up for what they believed in. Whether that was talking about depression, telling those you care about that you love them, or telling people about your faith and what it means to you. As Seth reached the end of his life, he was always patient, kind, loving, and thinking of others. Not once did he complain about his situation, to the extent that it was easy to forget that his body was failing him.
In Seth's final weeks, Sarah was given a new pair of sunglasses which she took upstairs to show him. She tried them on, and he so kindly and affirmingly said how much he loved them and how they suited her. The whole time, however, he was looking in completely the wrong direction. He could no longer see well enough, and yet he didn't complain about losing his sight. It was so easy to forget about that element of his illness.
Seth made people feel at ease. He made them feel special. The way he saw people was closer to the way God sees people than anyone we have ever met. Free from preconceptions and prejudice, eager to focus on and celebrate the good. The spirit of Seth was summed up perfectly by his good friend Matt Kendall on the week Seth passed away. Life is beautiful and life is hard. Compassion is key. We know you will rest in peace, dear Seth.
Jesus, draw me ever nearer as I labor through the storm. You have called me to this passage, and I'll follow, though I'm worn. May this journey bring a blessing. May I rise on wings of faith, and at the end of my heart's testing, with your likeness, let me wake. Jesus, guide me through the tempest. Keep my spirit staid and sure. When the midnight meets the morning, let me love you even more. May this journey bring a blessing. May I rise on wings of faith, heart's testing with your likeness. Let me wake. Let the treasures of the trial form within me as I go, and at the end of this long passage, let me leave them at your throne. May this journey bring a blessing. May I rise on wings of faith, and at the end of my heart's testing with your likeness, let me wait. Closer, my God, to thee. That's where my path will lead. In this life I live, and beyond of this. Closer, my God, to thee. As I walk through shadowlands, you are with me close at hand. For I cease to fear when you hold me near. As I walk through shadowlands, I will rest beneath the shadow of your wings, with my Lord who ended all our suffering. For every hope and fear I rest on thee. Keep holding me. Surer this trust instilled, the purpose of life fulfilled. Lord, I answer yes, and with halting steps I'm closer, my God, to thee.